Hello. In the Crown of Aragon, 639 years ago, it was March 10th, 1387. My name is Jonathan Seyfried. I'm a PhD candidate in history at the University of New Mexico, and this is the Historian's Notebook, a podcast about how history gets made. Season 1 is titled Multcara Companiona. We're looking at a document from each day of the first year of the reign of King Joan I of Aragon and Queen Violante de Bar. Let's begin today's document. Wowzers, folks. This document today is juicy. If you would like to know what it sounds like when Joan is super angry and lets it rip in a document, I think you could do no better than to look at this letter from March 10th. So he is chewing out a subordinate. There's this governor of Aragon, like the, main region of the Crown of Aragon, and this person is named Sanxo Martinez. And Joan starts out this letter in this, really, brace yourself kind of way. Because it starts out with Gobernador, it's in Catalan. Gobernador, muito somos maravillados, ende estamos. And then I think com indignación contra vos. So that means, Governor, we are astonished. It's like we marvel in how we are so indignant against you. Why? Because you have not followed our instructions and our orders to confiscate some estates of guess who. I'm going to give you just a few seconds here, delaying it just a bit so you can guess. If you are mad at a governor for not confiscating somebody's property, who is it? Well, if you guessed one of the de Fortias, whether it's Sibylla or Bernat, bravo to you. You have been a loyal listener to this podcast, because nothing gets Joan more angry, and tomorrow Violante writes about it too. Nothing gets them more angry than when the de Fortias seem to be getting away. And so here there's these two residences or properties in Borja and Magallon, and Joan has found out that the governor has ignored orders and has delayed in confiscating these properties. I guess Bernat de Fortia just still has them and is still getting money off of them, or maybe is playing in them. I don't know. He's supposed to be under house arrest still. I don't quite understand how after only a couple months this is causing such a big thorn in the side of Joan. And we'll see tomorrow Violante is also going to write to the same governor, laying into him. But this letter just goes on and on saying, you'd better do this, and you've been inobedient. There's on the third to last line of this of folio 23V, in obediencia. And then the letter ends right before the dating clause with this phrase, terror e ejemplo. terror and example. And what's being expressed there is that if this governor does not immediately carry out the confiscation of these properties of Bernat de Fortia, then he will be fired immediately. He will be removed from his office, and they are going to punish him in a way that causes terror and it sets an example for anybody else that would drag their feet on orders like this. Whoa, my goodness. This is an amazing, just like letting loose of emotion in the letter itself. Oh my gosh. You know what? I think I'm just going to read out the translation because it's just like so dramatic. Here we go. Governor, we are so astonished, and we are filled with indignation against you because you did not carry out what we sent to command you regarding the seizure of the places of Borja and Magallon and other properties of Mosen Bernat de Fortia and his sister. So that would be Sibylla. So he's not even like referring to Sibylla by name. So unless there's like another, but that's crazy. I just noticed that. Oh my gosh. He's not even dignifying Sibylla with like saying her name in the letter. Oh my gosh. All right. So regarding the seizure of places of Borja and Magallon and other properties of Mosen Bernat de Fortia and of his sister, of which seizure we ordered to be done reasonably and legally, and of which we entrusted to you neither the judgment nor the determination, but only the execution. Because, considering that you would be guilty of the disobedience and contempt that in this you committed, we tell you and command you expressly and with certain knowledge that immediately upon sight of the present letter our said command be fulfilled, and that you restore to our hand the said places and properties. And I think it's like, and it says réellement, like in reality, like it's a little hard to translate. In fact, in executing these orders, and that you do this right away. Otherwise, we will immediately suspend you from the office of the governor, and we will strip from you entirely all authority and exercise of that office. And no less be certain that we shall make of you such an example that to those present and to all others it shall be a terror and a warning. Given in Barcelona under the secret seal on the 10th day of March in the year of our Lord, 1387. King Joan. And you can see actually like a little bit of the, I think, I'm trying to figure out if it's actually Joan who signs these things in the actual outgoing letter, and that's why we get the Rex Johannes at the end here. And I think that the Rex is like especially like dramatic because the scribe had to have had feelings as he was copying this into the register. I mean, as you are just going about like all of your like random letters as a scribe, and then like you come across this one. Oh, he must have showed it to somebody. He must have been like, come over like to some of the fellow scribes and like, look at how this governor is in major trouble with the king. Oh gosh, this is an excellent example of the kind of tone that just is so full of emotion. And I'm so happy I've come across it, because now I can compare it to the others. And I also know that sometimes Joan does let loose. All right, I have not yet read Violante's letter, but as I was going through hers in some of her registers, I found that she also decides to write a letter to this governor. And so we're going to see tomorrow whether Violante is in the mood to like let loose and make threats in the way that Joan did. My goodness. It really raises some questions here, like, why? Why would the governor drag his feet? If you are assigned the task of confiscating a property and you've received that assignment from the king, why would you ignore it if you're a governor? Let's just ponder that for a second. It seems a little bit hard to figure out why. I think it might have something to do with how maybe the governor had for a long time been benefiting from associations with Bernat de Fortia. Maybe he had some loyalty to Bernat de Fortia. Maybe he had a lot of loyalty to Joan's father and is not really in the mood to listen to this new upstart king. So just the fact that there's a governor out there dragging his feet, or maybe even this is a kind of open defiance, just ignoring a command from the king, that says a lot. And I wouldn't go so far as to say that this is some kind of signal that Joan's authority is weak, but I don't know. I mean, it's a little disturbing when you have to go to these lengths to like threaten with this level of anger in a letter in order to have someone confiscate a property. Because it's like when you confiscate a property, like you can probably like steal some things while you're doing it. Like if it's some nice castle and there's like cool stuff in there as you're confiscating it, why don't you just take some? I don't know. Maybe Governor Sanxo Martinez is very upstanding and would never even think of how he could take advantage of the situation as he's confiscating Bernat de Fortia's properties. Or maybe he has some like long history with the de Fortias. I don't know. But I would love to know if I could just find out what was behind this reluctance on the part of the governor of Aragon to carry out this confiscation. I feel like it would be a great story. But alas, I don't know, it might be that we don't have any records except this one of this moment of defiance. Well, I'm going to see if I can find out a little bit more information about Sanxo Martinez and connections to the de Fortias, but nothing has come up in the research I've done already on the story of Sibylla de Fortia and her rapscallion brother Bernat. All right, thanks for listening to this episode of The Historian's Notebook, Season 1, Molt cara compagnona. If you are leaving with more questions than you arrived with, then I've really done my job, because my whole job today was to really just celebrate the sheer emotionality of this letter and then to leave you with all these questions. Because the motto of the Historian's Notebook is dissatisfaction guaranteed. Visit the website to see an image of today's document and additional show notes. I'll try to dig up some other stuff about Governor Sanxo Martinez, see what I can find. And listen again tomorrow to hear about Violante's letter to Sanxo Martinez that she wrote on the next day in the first year of the reign of King Joan I of Aragon and Queen Violante de Bar. In the meantime, take care.